Welcome back to Z Coins, where we dig deep into the fascinating world of coins. Today, we're talking about a small coin with a big story, the 1977 Lincoln penny. Could this humble 1-cent coin be hiding a fortune worth millions of dollars? Stick around, and we'll uncover the truth behind its history, rarity, and current market value. Trust me, you don't want to miss this one. The Lincoln penny, first introduced in 1909, was a groundbreaking coin for its time. It was the first U.S. coin to feature a president's face instead of Lady Liberty. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the coin's original design included the iconic wheat ears on the reverse side. However, by 1959, the reverse design changed to the Lincoln Memorial to celebrate the 150th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. The 1977 penny we're talking about today still carried that design. Now, 1977 wasn't a particularly rare year for pennies. Over 4.4 billion were minted in Philadelphia, with no mint mark, and an additional 2.3 billion in Denver, marked with a D. But what makes these coins so interesting is their potential value today. And there's more to the story than you might think. When we talk about the value of any coin, three major factors come into play: the coin's condition, its mint mark, and whether there are any errors or varieties. Let's break these down for the 1977 Lincoln penny. First, condition matters a lot. A penny in poor, circulated condition may only be worth its face value, but a pristine, uncirculated coin graded MS-67 or higher could fetch hundreds of dollars at auction. Next, look at the mint mark. A D indicates it was minted in Denver, while no mint mark means it was minted in Philadelphia. Generally, the Denver pennies are slightly more common, but this alone doesn't make much difference in value. Now here's where things get exciting: coin errors. These are rare mistakes made during the minting process, and collectors love them. A 1977 penny with a double die error, for example, could be worth thousands of dollars depending on the severity of the doubling. So, what's the rarest 1977 penny ever discovered? In recent years, collectors have found a few standout examples. For instance, a 1977 penny graded MS-67 RD, which means it's red in color and in near-perfect condition, sold for over $2,600 at auction. And that's not even the highest it could go. But if you're lucky enough to find a 1977 penny with a significant minting error, like a double die on the obverse or reverse, your coin could be worth tens of thousands of dollars. In fact, error coins are where we start seeing some jaw-dropping numbers. Now, let's address the big question: could a 1977 Lincoln penny be worth $8 million? There are stories circulating online about incredibly valuable pennies, and while the 1977 penny hasn't hit those heights, there are other coins that have. For example, the 1943 copper penny famously sold for over $1 million because it was struck in copper instead of steel during World War II. That coin story reminds us just how much collectors are willing to pay for rarity. So while it's unlikely that a 1977 penny would reach $8 million, if you find a rare error or have a perfectly preserved coin, it could still be worth a small fortune. How to spot a valuable 1977 penny? Here's what you need to do to check your 1977 pennies for value. Examine the condition. Look for sharp details, no scratches, and vibrant color. Check for errors. Use a magnifying glass to inspect the date, lettering, and edges. Get it graded. If you think you have a valuable penny, send it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. Getting a coin graded can cost a small fee, but it's worth it if you're sitting on a rare treasure. Current market value of 1977 pennies as of today. Here's what you can expect for a 1977 penny. And don't forget, prices fluctuate depending on demand in the coin collecting world. So, the next time you're digging through your spare change, take a closer look. That 1977 penny you almost overlooked might just be hiding a secret. Who knows? It could even be worth thousands. Video, we'll uncover the fascinating history of the 1974 Lincoln penny, why it's turning heads in the numismatic world, and how one of these coins shocked collectors with its staggering $9 million valuation. Stay tuned, because your next penny could change your life. The Lincoln penny first made its debut in 1909 to celebrate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. It was the first U.S. coin to feature a president's face and became an instant classic. Over the decades, the Lincoln cent underwent several changes, but it remained a staple of American currency. In 1974, the United States was facing rising costs of materials, especially copper. Pennies were becoming expensive to produce, with their copper content alone nearing the coin's face value. This led the U.S. Mint to experiment with alternative metals for pennies. Enter the 1974 aluminum penny. To cut costs, the U.S. Mint produced over 1.5 million experimental pennies made from aluminum. These coins were lighter, cheaper to produce, and resistant to corrosion. However, they were never officially released for circulation. While most of these coins were destroyed after Congress rejected the aluminum penny idea, a few slipped through the cracks. These rare survivors are now some of the most sought-after coins in the world. But the aluminum penny isn't the only story from 1974. At first glance, a regular 1974 Lincoln penny might seem ordinary. Over 4 billion pennies were minted that year across the Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco mints. But as any coin collector will tell you, rarity and condition are key to value. Coins graded in mint state condition, or those with rare minting errors, can fetch much more than their face value. In fact, even a 1974 copper penny in pristine condition can be worth $1 to $20 depending on its grade. But here's where the story takes a jaw-dropping turn. In 2019, an ultra-rare 1974D aluminum penny made headlines when it sold for an unbelievable $9 million. This coin was one of the only known aluminum pennies minted in Denver, making it a true numismatic treasure. The coin's rarity, historical significance, and perfect condition made it a record-breaking sale. Collectors and investors alike clamored for a piece of history, and the 1974D aluminum penny became one of the most expensive coins ever sold. So, what's the current market value of 1974 pennies? Here's a quick breakdown. Regular 1974 copper pennies, typically worth their face value unless they're in mint condition or feature an error. Mint state 1974 pennies can range from $1 to $20 or more, depending on grading. Aluminum pennies, if you're lucky enough to own one, you could be sitting on a fortune. Prices range from $250,000 to $9 million depending on the coin's history and condition. Many collectors are on the hunt for pennies with rare errors like double dies, off-center strikes, or even coins struck on the wrong planchet. These errors can multiply a penny's value by hundreds or even thousands of times. Wondering if your 1974 penny is worth big money? Here's what to look for. Mint mark. Check for a small D, S, or no mint mark to identify where it was minted. Condition. The shinier and less worn, the better. Errors. Use a magnifying glass to spot doubling, cracks, or unusual details. Metal content. If you think you have an aluminum penny, have it authenticated by a professional. To truly understand your penny's value, consider having it graded by a reputable service like PCGS or NGC. A high grade can dramatically increase its worth. The 1974 penny is a testament to the enduring legacy of the Lincoln cent. As the cost of materials continues to rise, the future of the penny itself is uncertain. Could these small coins soon become relics of the past? If so, their value may only increase. From humble beginnings to multi-million-dollar auctions, The 1974 Lincoln penny proves that even the smallest coin can hold a big story. So, the next time you empty your pockets, take a closer look. That penny you're holding could be worth a fortune. We're diving into the fascinating world of coins, specifically the 1980 Lincoln penny. You might think pennies are just pocket change, but you'd be surprised at how some of them hold significant value. In fact, one particular penny has been rumored to fetch as much as $6 million at auctions. So, could you be holding a fortune in your hand without even knowing it? Let's find out. The history of the Lincoln penny. To truly appreciate the 1980 Lincoln penny, we first need to explore its historical background. The Lincoln penny has been a staple of U.S. currency since 1909, introduced to celebrate the centennial of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Designed by Victor David Brenner, it was the first U.S. coin to feature a president's portrait. Over the decades, the design has remained largely consistent, with minor changes. By 1980, the U.S. Mint was producing pennies at a massive scale. The D. Mint mark signifies that the coin was minted in Denver, one of the three major U.S. mints at the time, alongside Philadelphia and San Francisco. In 1980, inflation was a hot topic, and even pennies mattered more than you might think. Over 5.1 billion 1980 pennies were minted, so they aren't exactly rare in terms of production numbers. However, as we'll soon discover, specific characteristics and errors can make some of these pennies incredibly valuable. The features of the 1980 Lincoln penny. Let's break down the key features of this penny. Features a portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. The date, 1980, and the mint mark, D, are located on the right-hand side, below the "In God We Trust" inscription. Displays the Lincoln Memorial, designed by Frank Gasparo. If you look closely, you can see Lincoln's statue inside the memorial. The inscriptions include "United States of America" and "E Pluribus Unum." Composition. By 1980, pennies were composed primarily of 95% copper and 5% zinc. This was before 1982, when the composition shifted to a copper-plated zinc core due to rising copper prices. What makes the 1980 penny valuable? Not all 1980 Lincoln pennies are created equal. Here's what can make yours worth more than just 1 cent. Mint errors are one of the most exciting aspects of coin collecting. These flaws occur during the minting process and can make a coin extremely valuable to collectors. Some known errors for the 1980 penny include double die obverse DDO. This happens when the design is struck twice, causing a doubling effect on the lettering, numbers, or Lincoln's portrait. Off-center strike. If the coin is struck off-center, part of the design may be missing, making it rare. Repunched mint mark, RPM. This happens when the D mint mark is struck more than once but slightly misaligned. Die cracks or cuds. These are raised lines or blobs caused by cracks in the die used to strike the coin. Coins in pristine condition, known as mint state (MS), are highly sought after. The grading scale for coins ranges from 1 to 70, with MS 70 being flawless. A 1980 penny graded MS 67 or higher can fetch hundreds, if not thousands, of dollars due to its rarity in such condition. Occasionally, coins gain additional value because of their history. For example, a penny that was part of a famous collection or owned by a notable person could sell for much more than its standard market value. While the copper in a 1980 penny is worth more than its face value, it's illegal to melt down U.S. coins for their metal content. However, copper prices do influence collector interest, as older copper coins are becoming scarcer. So, how much is a 1980 penny worth today? Here's a breakdown based on current market trends. Most 1980 pennies found in circulation are worth their face value of 1 cent. However, if the coin shows minimal wear, it may be worth 5 cents to 10 cents to collectors. Coins graded MS60 to MS65 typically sell for 50 cents to $5. Coins graded MS66 can sell for $20 to $50. A top-grade MS67 1980 penny has sold for as much as $1,000 at auction. A double die obverse penny could sell for $100 to $1,000 depending on the clarity of the doubling. Off-center strike errors can sell for $50 to $300. Coins with die cracks or cuts are valued between $25 and $200 depending on the size and location of the error. Part 5. The $6 million penny myth or reality. You might be wondering about that $6 million figure we mentioned earlier. Is it real? While there's no confirmed sale of a 1980 penny for $6 million, some coins from other years, like the 1943 bronze penny or 1955 double die penny, have sold for millions due to their extreme rarity and demand. It's not impossible that a previously unknown error or variety of the 1980 penny could one day achieve a similar value. Collectors are always on the hunt for the next big discovery, so who knows? Your coin could be the one to make headlines. How to identify and sell your 1980 penny. Here are some tips for identifying and selling valuable pennies. Examine your coins carefully. Use a magnifying glass or coin loupe to check for doubling, mint mark anomalies, or other errors. Look for coins with minimal wear, sharp details, and a shiny luster. Get your coins graded. Professional grading services like PCGS, Professional Coin Grading Service, or NGC, Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, can authenticate and grade your coin. A high-grade coin is more likely to fetch top dollar. Sell to the right buyer. Consider selling at coin shows, through online auction platforms like eBay, or directly to a coin dealer. Be cautious of scams and always research buyers before making a sale. Join a coin collecting community. Networking with other collectors can provide valuable insights and help you identify potential buyers. The 1980 Lincoln penny may seem like just another coin, but it has the potential to be worth much more than its face value. From rare errors to high-grade specimens, there's a lot to discover and appreciate about this humble penny. Who knows? You might have a hidden treasure sitting in your coin jar right now. We're going to talk about a humble yet intriguing coin, the 1981 Lincoln penny. It's a coin you've probably seen 1,000 times in your spare change, but did you know some of these coins can be worth thousands, or even millions, of dollars? Stick around, because we're about to uncover the secrets of this everyday coin and explain how one might just turn you into a millionaire. Before we dive into the value, let's take a quick look at the history behind the 1981 Lincoln penny. This penny belongs to the iconic Lincoln cent series, which has been in circulation since 1909. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the coin was introduced to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth and has been a staple of American currency ever since. The 1981 Lincoln penny was struck in the last year before a major change to the coin's composition. From 1909 to 1981, these pennies were made primarily of 95% copper and 5% zinc. But starting in 1982, the U.S. Mint transitioned to a zinc core with only a thin copper coating to save on production costs. This makes the 1981 penny part of the last era of mostly copper pennies. And here's the kicker. Because of this transition period and other unique factors, some 1981 pennies have become highly valuable. But what makes your penny worth just 1 cent, or potentially thousands, even millions? Let's find out! There are several key factors that determine whether your 1981 penny is worth a fortune or just its face value. Let's break it down. First up, mint marks. The 1981 Lincoln penny was minted at 3 locations: Philadelphia, no mint mark; Denver, marked with a D; and San Francisco, marked with an S. While most of these coins are common, certain mint marks and errors can make them highly collectible. For example, proof coins minted in San Francisco with the S mark often have a higher value due to their superior strike quality. Next is condition. Coin collectors, or numismatists, use a grading scale from 1 to 70 to determine a coin's condition. A 1981 penny that has been kept in pristine, uncirculated condition can fetch far more money than a worn one. Look for sharp details, no scratches, and that original mint luster. Finally, we have errors and variations. These are the real gold mines in the coin world. Some 1981 pennies have misprints, off-center strikes, or double dies, where parts of the design appear doubled. These errors can make a simple penny worth hundreds, or even thousands, of dollars. So, what are the most valuable 1981 Lincoln pennies ever discovered? Let me give you some jaw-dropping examples. One of the most sought-after errors is the double die obverse, where the date or the word Liberty appears doubled. These coins can sell for anywhere from $50 to $1,000, depending on their condition. Proof coins from the San Francisco Mint are another treasure to look for. These coins were struck with extra care, giving them a mirror-like finish. A perfect grade 1981 S proof penny can fetch $200 or more. Now, here's where things get really exciting. During the late 1970s and early 1980s, the U.S. Mint experimented with alternative materials for pennies. If you find a 1981 penny struck on a planchet made of a different metal, like bronze or aluminum, it could be worth millions. One such experimental penny sold at auction for over $7 million. Okay, so you've got a jar of pennies, and you're ready to hunt for treasure. Here's how to identify a rare 1981 penny and potentially cash in. First, look at the mint mark under the date. Does it have a DES or no mint mark at all? Keep an eye out for proof coins from San Francisco. Next, grab a magnifying glass or microscope and examine the coin for doubling, off-center strikes, or unusual patterns. Don't forget to check both sides of the coin. Finally, assess the condition of the penny. If you think it's in great shape, consider sending it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC for an official evaluation. If you've got a rare or valuable penny, the best way to sell it is through a reputable coin auction house or online platforms like eBay. High-grade coins and rare errors can spark bidding wars and fetch top dollar. Now, let's talk numbers. The average 1981 penny is worth just its face value of 1 cent. But uncirculated pennies in mint condition can sell for $1 to $5. Proof coins and error pennies can go for hundreds or thousands, and experimental coins have reached record-breaking prices of up to $7 million. The coin market is hotter than ever, with collectors willing to pay big bucks for rare finds. So, if you've got a 1981 penny, it's time to check your collection. You might just be sitting on a small fortune. We're diving deep into a coin that has been making waves in the collector's market, the 1982 D Lincoln penny. Yes, you heard that right. This humble penny could potentially be worth millions. We'll cover its history, why it's so valuable, the different types of 1982 pennies, and how you can identify if you have one of these hidden gems. Let's get started. A quick history of the Lincoln penny before we jump into the 1982 D penny specifically. Let's take a quick look at the Lincoln penny's background. First minted in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, the Lincoln penny has been a cornerstone of U.S. currency for over a century. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the penny features Lincoln's profile on the obverse and initially had 2 wheat stalks on the reverse. In 1959, the reverse design changed to depict the Lincoln Memorial, and that design lasted until 2008. Now, what makes the 1982 penny so special? Well, that year was monumental for pennies because it marked a major transition in the materials used to make them. The Great Composition Change of 1982 inches 1982, the U.S. Mint decided to change the composition of pennies. Before 1982, pennies were made of 95% copper and 5% zinc, which gave them a relatively heavy feel. However, due to the rising cost of copper, it became more expensive to produce a penny than the coin's actual face value. To solve this, the mint switched to pennies made of 97.5% zinc with just a thin copper coating. But here's where things get tricky. During 1982, both copper and zinc pennies were produced. As a result, there are 7 distinct varieties of 1982 pennies, including large and small date versions, as well as coins made from both compositions. Among these, the 1982D small date penny struck in copper is the coin that has captivated collectors, and for good reason. The mystery of the 1982D small date copper penny. The 1982D small date penny struck in copper is considered a numismatic anomaly. While the Denver Mint struck millions of 1982 pennies, they were primarily produced in the new zinc composition. The discovery of a small date copper penny from Denver has created a sensation because it shouldn't exist. Yet, in 2016, a man named Paul Malone found one, sparking excitement in the coin collecting community. Why is it so rare? Simply put, this coin was likely a transitional error, minted when the Denver Mint accidentally used leftover copper planchets from the old composition. To date, only a handful of these coins have been verified, making them among the rarest Lincoln pennies ever produced. How much is the 1982D small date copper penny worth now? For the big question, what is this coin worth? The answer depends on its condition and whether it has been authenticated by a professional grading service like PCGS, Professional Coin Grading Service, or NGC, Numismatic Guarantee Company. In 2017, the first confirmed 1982D small date copper penny sold for $18,800 at auction. A year later, another specimen sold for over $10,000. Experts believe that pristine examples of this coin could fetch upwards of $50,000 to $100,000 depending on the market and demand. But here's where things get even more jaw-dropping. Some coin enthusiasts speculate that as more of these coins are discovered and authenticated, an exceptionally high-grade specimen could someday sell for as much as $5 million. Yes, you heard that right, $5 million for a penny. How to identify a 1982D small date copper penso? How can you tell if you've struck gold, or in this case, copper? Here's what to look for. The mint mark. The coin must have a D mint mark, indicating it was struck at the Denver Mint. The date. It must feature the small date variety. To distinguish small date from large date pennies, look closely at the 8 in 1982. On a small date penny, the 8 is more rounded, and the numbers in the date appear evenly spaced. On a large date penny, the 8 is more elongated, and the numbers appear slightly uneven. The composition. This is the most critical part. To determine whether your coin is made of copper or zinc, you can use the weight test. Copper pennies weigh 3.11 grams. Zinc pennies weigh 2.5 grams. Use a precise digital scale to check your coin's weight. Professional grading. If you think you've found a 1982D small date copper penny, send it to a professional grading service for authentication and grading. This step is crucial for establishing its value. Other valuable 1982 pennies. While the 1982D small date copper penny is the most famous, other 1982 pennies can also be valuable. For example, 1982 large date copper pennies in high grades can fetch $50 to $200.1982. Zinc pennies with errors, like off-center strikes or double dies, can also command premium prices. If you have a stash of 1982 pennies lying around, it's worth taking a closer look. Tips for coin collectors and treasure hunters. If you're serious about finding a rare 1982D small date copper penny, Here are some tips to increase your chances. Search in old coin rolls. Visit banks or coin shops and ask for rolls of pennies to search through. Check estate sales. Older collections may contain coins that haven't been searched for modern rarities. Invest in a magnifying glass and scale. These tools are essential for identifying valuable coins. And remember, patience is key. Finding a rare penny like this is like winning the lottery. It's unlikely but not impossible. Conclusion: is the 1982D penny worth millions? So, is the 1982D small date copper penny worth millions? For now, no single coin has sold for $5 million, but as more examples are discovered and collectors compete to own them, the sky's the limit for this coin's value. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just someone with a jar of pennies at home, it's worth keeping an eye out for this rare treasure. We're diving deep into the fascinating world of the 1992 Lincoln penny, a coin that has sparked excitement, mystery, and huge paydays in the collector's market. Stick around to find out how a tiny error turned this humble coin into a potential $4 million treasure. Money bag. Let's start with the basics. The 1992 Lincoln penny is part of the iconic Lincoln Memorial Series, which was minted from 1959 to 2008. This design was created to honor one of America's greatest presidents, Abraham Lincoln, and featured the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, replacing the earlier Wheatstock design. In 1992, the United States Mint was producing billions of pennies each year from facilities in Philadelphia and Denver. Most of these coins were just your average, everyday cents made for circulation. But here's where it gets interesting. Something very special happened during the minting process that year. A rare and unintentional error would make certain 1992 pennies some of the most sought-after coins in history. So what's all the fuss about? Why would anyone pay thousands or even millions for a penny? Well, the answer lies in a design error. Collectors are hunting for the 1992 penny that features what's called the close AM variety. Typically, on Lincoln Memorial pennies, the letters A and M in the word America on the reverse should be spaced apart. However, in the close AM variety, these two letters are nearly touching. This mistake occurred because the U.S. Mint accidentally used the proof die, which was meant for collector sets, to strike regular circulation coins. Here's where it gets even more thrilling. Only a handful of these close AM pennies have been discovered in circulation, and they were minted in both Philadelphia and Denver. The Denver variety, marked with a small D mint mark below the date, is especially rare and valuable. Alright, now let's talk about what you're all here for, the money. Just how much is this rare penny worth today? Well, the answer depends on the coin's condition, but even in lower grades, these coins can fetch thousands of dollars. A 1992 close AM penny in average condition might sell for around $1,000 to $3,000. Coins in higher grades, with minimal wear, can command prices between $10,000 and $30,000. But here's the kicker. A 1992 D close AM penny in mint state 67 red sold for an eye-popping $25,850 at auction in 2012. And here's the part you've been waiting for, the $4 million story. While number 1992 penny has officially sold for that much yet, experts believe that if a pristine, gem-quality example were to surface, especially one from the Denver Mint, it could break records and sell for upwards of $4 million. Now, you're probably wondering, do I have one of these rare pennies sitting in my pocket right now? The good news is, it's possible. Here's how you can check for yourself. Start with the reverse side of the penny. Look closely at the word America. On a standard penny, there's a noticeable gap between the and the M. On the close AM variety, the letters are almost touching. Examine the date and mint mark. The rare varieties are from 1992 and come in both the Philadelphia, no mint mark, and Denver, D mint mark versions. Use a magnifying glass or microscope. These details can be hard to see with the naked eye. So invest in a good loupe or coin microscope to get a clear view. Check for a red or shiny surface. A coin in its original red luster, untouched and uncirculated, is worth significantly more than one that's been worn down. Submit your find to a professional grading service. Organizations like PCGS or NGC can authenticate and grade your coin, which is essential for maximizing its value. You might be asking, why would anyone pay millions for a penny? Well, it comes down to a mix of rarity, demand, and historical significance. The 1992 close AM error is a modern-day treasure, a mistake that escaped the mint's quality control and gives collectors a chance to own a piece of numismatic history. Plus, the thrill of finding one in circulation adds to the allure. So, there you have it, the incredible story of the 1992 Lincoln penny that could make you rich. Money Malface, who knew that something as small as the spacing of 2 letters could lead to million-dollar paydays? Now it's your turn to check your spare change and start hunting for treasure. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe for more amazing coin stories and money-making tips. Also, drop a comment below if you've ever found a rare coin or if you're planning to start searching for one now. Until next time, happy hunting, and may your pocket change bring you fortune.